kung wala
sinalin
ng
sa blankong papel sa
pagtutukan.
kanyang mesa. Isang istorya,
Sa tuluyan mong pagkisan, ako ay
isang
may tanging
istorya
hiling.
ng isang bilanggo ng
Ka na
pandemya.
sanang lumingon at
Animoy,
tumingin.
ang mundo'y
Dahil
nagmistulang
baka hindi
kulungan
ko
na puno ng
mapigilan ang
kadena.
puso ng aking damdamin.
Malaya nga ba
Pag lumingon kay, baka
o mahaba
maisipan
lang
mo
ang
pang
tadhana?
tadhana at kanabali.
Okay. Yan. Hello, everyone. It's Sunday. I know we missed YMOP yesterday. Hello there on Kumu. Hello, Pamilya Saranggola. They're watching on Kumu. And those who are new on YMOP, please do stick around. And we will be having a very nice Sunday afternoon in the Philippines. It's still morning here. Hello there on Facebook naman. Hello, Raijin. I saw my classmate from high school, Shella. Hello. Hello there, Facebook friends and family. And of course, those who would be following and would be watching the replay for YouTube. Hello there. Good Sunday morning sa inyo. Saturday pa rin sasabihin ko, hindi ako sanay. But syempre kasi, minsan kailangan nating mag-adjust. Kaya, it's Sunday morning here. Kaya, alam mo yon, medyo ginigising-gising ko pa pong aking sarili dahil kalimitan, Saturday afternoon ng ating YMOP. But nevertheless, I am sure you are all excited because I am excited that my season finale is a very dear friend. Kahit bihira kaming magkita in person, kung hindi pa sila magbabiyahe papunta dito, hindi kami magkikita. But nevertheless, salamat sa teknolohiya at lagi ko siyang nakikita sa Facebook. Ayan. So, hello there, Jethro. Hello there. Ayan. So, Aiko, hello. Hello, Peach. Uy, thank you for those who are there. My family on Kumu. My family on Kumu and in real life na rin. Diba? Hello there. Theophilus, hello there. Merce, thank you for sharing, Peach. Ayan. Thank you. My God. I mean, today's guest is napaka well-rounded. As in, alam niyo yun, kanina nagkakwentuhan kami sa backstage. Hi, Aiko. Nagkakwentuhan kami sa backstage and sabi ko nga, parang lahat ng pinangarap ko nung kabataan ko, nagawa niya. And, grabe. At kailangan kong pigilan ng sarili ko makipagchikahan pa more on sa backstage kasi baka wala na kaming pagkwentuhan sa stream. Ubusan ko na kayo ng kwentuhan namin. But, one thing for sure, I love all his pieces. Yung mga pinopost niyang tula. I mean, I'm a fan. So, sino na ba siya? Wag na nating patagalin. Ang daldal ko talaga naman. Anyways, I'm just glad to be here and this is the season finale. Next week, please do watch for the elimination round. Ninenervous din ako kasi dun sa amongst the sa nag-audition, kung pwede ko lang silang kuhanin lahat, but then I have to, trim the list to 20 or 25 na sasalang sa elimination round. Ayun. That would be on May 1, that is Saturday, 9 p.m. And the semifinals would be the following Saturday, May 8, 9 p.m. pa rin. And the grand finals would be May 15. Pwede pa kayong humabol. Kung gusto nyo pa, sige pa. Pahirapan nyo pa po ako. Pwede pa pong humabol yung mga gustong sumali. Prizes would be 5,000 for the first place, second place would be 3,000 and 2,000 for the third place. Ayan, so promote ko lang siya for those who would like to join the competition, YMOP Spoken Word Poetry Competition Season 2. Hanggang sa 28 po yung ating audition. Ayan. So, eto na, balik na tayo sa ating season finale. Adi! Hello there, Adi! Nice to see you. Thank you for the super halo-halo na sana nakakain ko din. Thank you, Adi. I miss you. Okay, so, who is this special guest of ours because siya ang ating season finale. He's a creative director and managing director at Bughaw Digital Incorporated. He used to be a member of the Philippine Madrigal Singers, former member Executive Committee and the Board of Trustees at San Sebastian Basilica Conservation and Development Foundation Incorporated, former founding artistic director at SCCR, Manila Center for Culture and the Arts, worked at the University of the Philippines, or he taught in the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, and studied writing at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Guys, none other than, please welcome, Joey Vargas. Hello there, Joey!
Oh my God. I'm scared.
Hel- Don't be, I should be. Don't be. Hello, hello. Would you like to say hi muna sa mga nanonood sa atin on Kumu, Facebook, and YouTube, Sir Joey?
Hello everyone. Matagal na to request and I have always been refusing, especially because I am currently in my island province, which is Catanduanes, kung saan pamaya't-maya ay nawawala ang kuryente at mahina ang internet signal. So this has been a long time coming bago natuloy conversation na to. So thank you for having me. And I miss
Yes.
everyone. I miss the world.
No, hindi naman ko talagang nandyan ka sa island of Catanduanes and with all the hello Mix, thank you Mix, with all the restriction ng kuryente at internet talagang mawawala ka sa sirkulasyon. Hindi pwede yon. Totoo yan, ang tagal ko na pang nire-request si Joey. Pero alam mo yun, the voice that is so distinct voice ng Philippine Madrigal Singers. Talagang natawa ako kanina nung tinanong ko. Sabi ko, Joey, ano ka ba? Sabi niya, no. Sinabi niya kung ano yung position ng voice niya. Ulitin ko, guys. Joey, baritone ka ba?
Ang sagot ko ay hindi, but I sing bass. So ang sabi ko ay yun ang boses na representing hell. Dahil nakakatakot na boses, sabi ng maraming tao.
No, naloloko ako, but I know you will agree, 'di ba? Yung boses niya kasi hindi niya minomodulate. Yan talaga yung speaking voice niya. And it's so 'di ba? Nakaka-amaze. Ako amazed ako. Hi Augie Santos, hello there. Neighbor ko 'yan. Okay, so Joey, ayan, syempre, alam nating lahat that pag talaga alam ko sa maths, 'di ba? Dadating ka, may time na time off ka because of work and then babalik ka ulit and then kasama ka sa tour, 'di ba? Doon kita nakilala na nag-tour kayo dito. Pero pag kumaga sa maths, obvious syempre, kilala kang kumakanta, isa ka sa talagang pambato ng maths, ng Madrigal Singers. Pero yung in line with poetry, kailan ka nag-start magsulat? When did you realize that you can write pala poems and poetries?
Diba? Yung hindi, well, I started writing ng bata pa, I think. I would always, when I receive such questions, ang lagi kong kinukwento, when I was young, sa bahay, parang may second floor kami na sa bahay, gawa pa sa kahoy yung bahay during the time. And there's this ledge sa may bintana. I would sit on that ledge. Kapag umuulan, I like it when it rains. And then makikita ko yung tubig na nabubuo sa tapat ng bahay sa kalsada. And I would see leaves, yung mga nahulog na mga dahon ng ipil-ipil, etc. And they're floating on the water. And then in my mind, I would create stories na ginagawan ko ng kwento yung mga na sila yung characters in my mind. And then later on, I started writing stories and poetry especially I think ng high school, na noon I would write para mga noveleta, kaartehan, ambisyoso. Ginagawa ko siyang parang published kuno, sinusulat ko sa bond paper and then I would bind them and tinatahi ko yung gawa ko at nilalagyan ko rin ng cover. So may drawing pa ako nun sa front para may cover. And then my mother, without me knowing, will bring these stories to her office as ipapabasa sa mga opisina niya, and it would be embarrassing. So yun. And then
How
high school.
mothers could be embarrassing at times. I know that. I think my children can relate to that. But ibig
So
sabihin, that young, sorry to cut you, no, that young, I mean, ano ka na? Artistic ka na.
yes, theater, mas vivid sa akin yung memory ng theater that I started the most, I mean, the first impactful experience I've had ng theater was when I was in kindergarten, na hanggang ngayon na hindi ko nakakalimutan. And kinukwento ko na walang kwenta naman, pwedeng tingnan na walang kwenta yung role ko during the time because there was no dialogue. I did not move a bit because I played a tree.
A tree.
Character ng isang puno na hindi gumagalaw. But the costumes, the experience was very powerful for me because we were doing the story of Thumbelina. So yung costumes ng mga klasiko, they were wearing para sila mga bulaklak, mga
Colorful, yeah.
so yeah, it's still vivid in my mind. And then the same year, I also performed as a dancer, and from then on, every year I would find myself doing something on stage. So
Oh my. So at an early age talaga, ano ka na? I mean, you're aware that there's this thing called performance.
yes,
Even if, you know,
definitely.
kahit na ano pa yan, kahit anong role pa yan. No? Kahit anong
Yeah.
role pa yan.
So ayun, ang binabanggit ko lagi, the arts would be the air that I breathe. So
Oh my
it has
gosh.
been a life. So yun.
Yeah.
So pag kahit saan, parang tipong kapag like dito sa isla, no, kasi I'm surrounded by how do I say it, by wonderful things. By halimbawa, I would go
By
ng gabi,
nature. Yeah.
pupunta ako sa may dagat sa gabi, and then I will see this fisherman na may dalang mga ilaw, and they're moving dun sa water na very still, tapos may reflection yung ilaw nila dun sa tubig. And then what I would imagine is a stage. I am seeing a stage, a theater stage, and I imagine a production na may nakikitang gumagalaw na may mga gumagalaw na may ilaw and shiny ang floor, etc. And these images in my mind ay nagagamit sa mga theater productions that I did in the past or the theater plays that I have written. Like that particular memory, ginamit ko sa isang production, I think, which I staged in UPLB. So parang yung pagtingin sa mga karanasan sa buhay, it's either, there's always like poetry and everything. No? May nakikitang kwento, may nakikitang karanasan na pwedeng masulat. A lot of things. There are so many things to read about.
I mean, in all aspects, Joey, no? Into writing. No? Into writing na pinababasa ng mommy mo. But nakat kita kanina, anong reactions ng mga office mates ng mommy mo? Pag nababasa nila yung sulat.
How do I say it? Pag bumibisita ako sa office, yun yung dreaded moment kasi bigla, dun ko lang malalaman na binasa na pala ng mga opisina. Dun ko lang malalaman na tinakas ng nanay ko yung gawa ko. Tapos,
That's so true.
And then malalaman ko lang because her office mate would tell me, "Oy, ang ganda ng ginawa mo," ganyan. But it's handwritten, and my handwriting during the time was really, really terrible. So I don't know how they understood it.
No, but I mean, in writing, singing, obviously, you won't be able to land a seat, literal na seat sa madrigal singers if you are not really a good singer, di ba? And then into performing arts, you've been on stage for sabi mo nga, the vivid memory that you can really remember, kinder pa. So, and all your life, and you've taught. Kwento mo nga ng konting sa UPLB. What did you do sa UPLB? What did you teach?
Well, graduate ako ng UPLB, and after that, I was asked to teach nagturo ako ng theater. So, introduction to theater. So, this is a course especially for students ng Bachelor of Arts in Communication Arts. So, bago sila magtuloy-tuloy sa iba pang areas ng theater, they are taught muna yung theater theories, which are taken sa Introduction to Theater. So I discussed yun, yung tinuro ko yung subject na yun, theater theories. But meron siyang requirement during that time also that the students should experience doing stage productions, various areas ng stage production. So I would guide them sa production management, and I would usually direct these theater productions and also write yung material na gagamitin.
Okay. Grabe. So, nagdaya ka kanina when I said you cannot, obviously, you won't be able to land a seat sa MADS. Not unless you are a very good singer. Paano naman yung sa MADS?
Whew! Dapat hindi nakikinig ngayon si Sir Mark. No?
May
Kasi
disclaimer tayo. Okay.
baka sabihin niya na out of his goodness lang, kaya
What
nasa
No
time.
way.
No, but I joined the MADS actually when in 2008. Yun yung panahon na una kong pag-join sa Madrigal Singers. But I was kind of in a, how do I say it? I was kind of in a dark place during that time. I was suffering. I was not that okay. And ang thinking ko na ng pagsali sa MADS was for me to be okay. Pero marami ring realizations yung karanasan na yon. Ang sabi ko nga nung time na yon, kasi I left in 2009. So just after a year, I left ng ang pagpapaalam ko kay Sir Mark. I threw an email. And then I remember one particular part dun sa email, I was telling him na when I left the MADS, I was not leaving the MADS per se, but I was hoping to leave the state I was in. Because I said, singing with the MADS, should be done by people who are able to love. And I am not capable of loving during the time because I couldn't even love myself. So, kailangan mo na maging okay para bumalik. Bumalik ako ng 2014 na. And yung paraan ko ng pagpasok ng 2014, because I wore my hair long for maybe 3 years, like really long. Tapos December of 2013, I sent a message kay Sir Mark asking him whether I may go back to singing. And then sabi niya, of course. And then sabi ko, anong kailangan kong gawin para makabalik? Ang sagot niya ng, cut your hair. So, 2014, 2014 January, pinakinggan niya ako ulit. And then, so yun, I went back. And yun, since then, I have become part of the MADS na ulit.
Oh my goodness. Grabe pala yun. So, yeah, I met you na after that, yung pagbabalik. Yung pagbabalik na. And yun yung naririnig ko. Nagbalik. So, sabi ko, siguro nga bagong balik siya. But, hindi ko alam na, was it hard for you to cut that hair that you kept for 3 years?
I think it was harder for the persons who caught it sa salon. So it was harder for him than for me. Kasi sabi niya nung kinakat niya, kasi gusto niya daw yung hair ko nung time na yun.
Natural curl, no?
Yes, and then he was wondering kung seryoso ba ako, napuputulin ko na. So, well, I said, it has to go. I think I still have my hair on I put it on something. May nakatago siya sa isang.
Tinago mo siya.
Yes.
Yes, I could imagine. And I've seen the pictures nga that you have that the long hair that you're wearing in that picture na pinost ko dito, no. And then that is yun yung grabe, yun yung parang bigla akong na-miss ang theater nung sinabi mo. Kwento mo nga ng konti yung picture about kay Andres Bonifacio. What was it all about?
Yung hair na yun na mahaba, I actually wore it because some priests, Augustinian Recollect priests, wanted to do a production with me. They asked me to write a play about Augustine. They wanted me to direct a play about Augustine, and I did not want to stage a musical play about Saint Augustine na nakafocus din sa pagiging santo na parang untouchable siya, etc. So I researched about his life and focused on his humanity. And I performed the role of Augustine din dun sa play na yon, and I did not want to
Okay.
wear wig for the role, so
Mhm.
I grew it.
Through your
But this particular performance na nabanggit mo for Andres Bonifacio was done naman in UP in a gathering ng mga, I don't know exactly kung anong gathering yung nangyari during the time because it was a number of years ago. So my cultural workers, my theater practitioners, my musicians, writers, we were gathered together and there were performances, and I was asked to perform a role na it's about Andres Bonifacio,
Mhm.
and it was a collaboration with a classical guitar player. So yun,
Oh.
that's it.
Kaya yung performance niya, ang galing. Nai-imagine ko lang, ano, parang, wow, yun agad yung naiisip ko. But, di ba kapag nag-perform ka in theater, uh, you are in a character. Or when you sing, you really feel what you sing from the heart so that you can give justice to the song, to the song, tama ba? Pero pag
Yeah.
yung sa poetry, pag i-deliver mo siya, what do you, are you also in a character or you would just read it how, you wrote it? Or what is it into a performance kapag ang i-deliver mo na, whether sa sarili mo, babasahin mo for yourself, o babasahin mo siya para sa ibang tao. But when it comes to poetry, paano mo siya dinadala?
You mean when you're performing a poem
Yeah.
or when you're writing a poem?
When you perform it, after
Mm,
writing.
I think pareho pa rin yung principles, no, for me ng when you perform it. Depende, it's how do I put it? It's like halimbawa pag binasa ko ang poetry, well, perhaps when I read a poem halimbawa by William Shakespeare when I was in high school, I probably performed it in a good way. Halimbawa sa isang competition when I was in high school, but the intention, the meaning changes after a few years when you get to experience a lot of other things in life. And then you come face to face ulit with the very same poem, hindi nagbago yung text, etc. And you probably delivered it the same way you would in the past, except na may iba ng lalim yung delivery mo. So, hindi sa akin masyadong nagmamatter. Sometimes for me, it's dangerous when you overly dramatize a text kasi sometimes mawawala ng sincerity yung material na makarating yung text. Kasi sometimes I remember Rolando Tino, no, national artist for literature and theater, na meron siyang parang theory, no? Literature is the mirror of my meanings, no? Ang panitikan ay salamin ng aking mga kahulugan. So parang kapag binasa mo ang isang tula, it's not so much about you, not so much about you, not anymore. Hindi lang ikaw halimbawa bilang manunulat or bilang nagbabasa ng tula, yung kailangan hindi lang yung karanasan mo yung mahalaga. Ang mahalaga ay kung anong karanasan ng mapupuntahan nung tula, no? So kapag may nakakarinig na halimbawa 50 people sa isang tula na binabasa, baka posibleng kapag tinanong natin sila isa-isa, may iba't ibang kahulugan yung iisang tula. So we have about maybe 51 interpretations of the same poem at that particular moment. Kasi 50 yung nakikinig sa'yo at yung interpretation mo. Kasi the meaning of a text is completed in the imagination of the listener. So, at naghahalo-halo na yung interpretation from the experiences of each individual and then yung experience nung nagbabasa. So when you overly dramatize it, that it becomes like a revelation of your own particular experience, ang danger is that it centers on your experience and not the experience of the collective. So parang, so madalas, I don't know, I like parang simple performances because the work itself has a life of its own. So may sarili siyang buhay. When I was doing my thesis, halimbawa, sa university, nakarating ako dun sa point na sinasabi tinatawag ng marami as a writer's block. No? Wala nang masulat. Sa dami ng kailangang masulat. Because my thesis was a collection of 50 poetry and 3 short stories. And then there's this part which we call the genetic criticism. It's a discussion of my process as a writer. So ang dami-daming kailangan masulat. So nakarating ako dun sa point na wala na akong masulat. And then people will ask me, how's your thesis going? And I would reply, jokingly, but actually, it's also something that I believe, no? Sinasabi ko during that time, it is writing itself. So hinahayaan ko lang. I'm not forcing it. So it has to write itself because it has a life of its own. No? Sometimes you have experiences na may sinulat ka and then originally you know where the direction it is supposed to go, but as you're writing, it's going somewhere else. And then you suddenly experience yung conflict because you wishes to go somewhere else, but it's moving towards another. And then you insist. Delikado yung nag-i-insist. Kasi yun ang pakiramdam ko na may pagka-delikado kasi nawawala yung essence ng work mismo. Dami ko nang sinabi. Forgive me.
I love everything that you've said. And that parang na-realize ko na talagang sometimes, the art, that character in you being an artist has its own mind. Sometimes it's not really what you wanted to, but the artistic part of you, the person in you that is really there to create, would create something na kahit na hindi yun yung sinasadya mo, no? Minsan, you would like to write something. Nakaka-relate ako minsan, di ba? Magsusulat ka. Magsusulat ako ngayon. Ang ganda ng araw. So, gusto ko magsulat. Pero, ang ending, iba yung kinalabasan. And it's because the interpretation of you are writing not only to interpret what you feel, but, to interpret it universally. Dating. Ang galing, Joey. Nakakatuwa. Talagang salamat sa pagtanggap mo ng pang-season finale kita. Ang tagal-tagal na nitong nakabinbin ng conversation na to. But, leading to that, when you write, what do you need to write a poem? To write a poetry? To write a letter?
What do I need?
What do you need? Yeah. What do a Joey Vargas need to write?
Wala yata akong requirement. Iba-iba ang karanasan sa pagsusulat. Because I would mention that I write also theater productions. No? Kanina I mentioned yung pagsusulat nung kay St. Augustine, Late Have I Loved You. I entitled it as Late Have I Loved You. In order for me to do that, I had to do research. Like I read the entire book, the Confessions, which was rather difficult to decipher. So I read it. But when I started it I don't know, it inflamed my heart. Hindi ako makatulog. So minsan pumupunta ako sa iba't ibang coffee shops na bukas pa ng hanggang umaga para lang magbasa ng work na yan. Kasi I needed to finish it. Not because I'm rushing para masulat yung play, but because it was very, very powerful na parang hindi ako makatulog hanggat hindi ko matapos. So I needed to learn it. I needed to read about the medieval period, about the life in Africa, parallel readings, etc. Bago ako makarating dun sa actual na pagsusulat. So, may mga ganong karanasan na kailangan mong mag-research talaga if you need to write these things. But there are also others na, I don't know, like nasa jeep. No? I remember, although wala na sa akin yung text na to, marami akong materials na nawala through time. But I remember this particular time because I have the habit noon na kailangan lagi akong may papel sa bulsa at may hawak na ballpen because may dadating na mga salita at so I remember writing. I remember I was on a jeepney sa campus, sa UPLB. Tapos pumasok lang sa isipan ko yung eyelash, this eyelash, no? Sa mata. Pero, nung pumasok yung eyelash, ang dumating din sa isipan ko ay the other eyelash, as in eye, lash. That started a poem. I would remember the first line of the poem was, I lash out words. Na kung I think I lash out words and the words turn to blades.
Oh.
So, parang ganon. So hindi ko siya pinaplano. Sometimes the words come, naalala ko rin, they come like foxes. I would write before. They come like foxes. They're hard to grasp minsan. So kapag dumating, kailangan mong mahawakan ng matindi. Kanina, also, I mentioned yung iba-ibang karanasan talaga. Kasi nung magkaroon ng yun nga, yung tinatawag nilang writer's block, I remember kasi iba yung karanasan ng my thesis kasi may deadline. Tapos, hindi na talaga ako makasulat. Ang nasa imagination ko during the time, the words are dead. My word is dead. And then, I told myself that if I would like to call myself a writer, I should be able to write about anything, including about having nothing to write about. So kung talagang writer ako, I should also be able to write about having nothing to write about. So during the time, nagsulat ako ng poetry. Wala na rin sa akin yung copy ng poetry, but I remember the content. I suppose it's on my thesis somewhere. So,
Lahat yata, yeah. Parang kalimitan talaga, madami tayong nawawalang mga pyesa, no?
Yes.
Nasayang. But I'm glad, nare-refresh. I mean, you still remember how you wrote it.
Yes. Diba? So, nagsulat ako nitong poetry na I am describing a funeral, a procession papunta sa apoy, no? Na parang cremation, kumbaga. So may dinadala, ang characters ko dun sa poetry ay sentences and phrases and words. Ililibing nila ang letters. So susunugin nila ang letters. Matatapos yung poetry na magsasabi na they threw letters into the fire and then there was silence. Kasi hindi nila alam na yung letters are the very things that compose them as phrases, as sentences. So ang pinakahuli ng poetry, yun na lang yung naalala ko, there was silence. So ang title ko nun was The Funeral. So what I was actually describing was my experience during the time that the words are dead in me. I could not write. So because of that experience, the time that I was able to come up with that poetry, that started again yung flow ng ideas, ng karanasan na makapagsulat ulit, at natapos rin naman yung thesis.
Congratulations.
That was many.
You were able to finish it. No? But I mean, words are really, sometimes they really have their own power. Not just sometimes, they have their own power.
Definitely.
I can't, Marvin. No? So, I mean, words can really, sabi mo nga, like eyelash. That it could really turn into blade. That is so true. And it can soothe pain also. Pero, talking about words, Joey, we have to hear your own words. we have to hear now a piece or two. What would you share with us this afternoon?
Oh my God. Wait. Ano bang isi-share?
Lahat. Wala akong tulak-kabigan sa mga piyesa mo na nabasa ko sa Facebook. They're all parang heart-piercing. Very true. Nakaka-relate. Yung sinabi mo nga kanina na hindi lang dapat experience mo yung kailangan makarelate. That is so true. That is one of the challenges ata talaga. No, na hindi lang ikaw ang nakaka-relate sa sinulat mo. Dapat lahat nakaka-relate.
I can read ngayon. There's this poem that I've written. Hindi ko na alam kung anong taon ito. But that was, I think, the first time I stayed long sa Manila. kasi probinsyano, and then when I had the option of studying in UP, I chose UPLB because I know yung lugar is so also similar to my province. And I actually did not want to stay in Manila because I did not want to experience yung traffic and all. And when I worked with the Recollect sa San Sebastian College in Manila, that was the first time na nagtagal ako doon. And what struck me most ay yung maraming batang lansangan at yung mga taong natutulog sa kalsada. So I got rather depressed because of those, no? Nasurpresa ako. So I wrote this especially because of a child that I saw sa street. Matagal na ito, and matagal ko na rin yata itong na-share, but I think I shared this a number of times already sa Facebook. It's entitled Sa Batang Lansangan. Wala akong himig na makapagpapatahan sa hikbi ng iyong mga himutok o tinig na makaampat sa lagablab ng apoy ng iyong hinanakit. Walang panyong maaaring pumawi sa mga luha ng iyong pait o inuming makatitighaw sa uhaw sa pag-aaruga. Wala akong balikat na maaaring maging sandalan ng pagalmong kasaysayan o mga palad na maaaring humagod at humilom sa mga sugat ng iyong pighati. Wala akong brasong maaaring yumakap at umako ng iyong mga takot o pusong maaaring magpatunaw sa talim ng mga tinik na tinutusok ng iyong mga titig. Kung ang tula ay may kakayahang maging sinapupunan, nanaisin kong akuin ka at aluin ng aking mga titik at talinghaga. Marahil, maaaring ang bawat taludtod ay maging ugat na daluyan ng mga ideyang dugong huhugas sa iyong mga takot at galit na parang apoy na tumutupok sa iyong ulirat at pag-asam. Baka sakaling ang bawat pantig ay maging pintig ng pulso at pusong nagsisimula ng itigil ang pagtipok sa pag-unawa. Baka sakaling makita mo ang buhay hindi bilang isang sakuna. Yon.
Grabe. Ninanamnam ko siya. I love the metaphors. I love the way you really, parang yung pagsasalaysay, yung paglalahad, ano. Sabi nga nung friend ko, nasa Kumu, ang daming naggaan sa Kumu, nagre-react sa Kumu. Ang lalim daw. Wow. Napapabigay sila na ang daming pumapalakpak. Hi, John Mark. Hello there on Kumu. Thank you for watching. And there on Facebook also. Sometimes, guys, hindi ko na kayo napapansin, hindi ko na kayo nababati kasi I am so deep into the guests talaga and the poems that they share, especially this poem that Joey shared. Sabi nga, ang Diyos ko, minapa Diyos ko. Jetro, ang lalim ba? But, my goodness, no? The words, how or what transpired or what was happening during the time that you wrote this poem? And why? Well, why this poem?
The eyes ng bata, yung mata ng bata, it was very powerful, no? We talk of the eyes as like the mirror of the soul. When we say the eyes are the mirrors of the soul, parang we tend to romanticize it because it becomes literary, no? And we get to detach ourselves from the experience of other people. We would call ourselves privileged. May mga pribilehiyo tayo. No? Nung karanasan na yon sa Manila, kakaiba yung karanasan kasi nakita ko yung mga batang, I remember there's this family past midnight sa labas ng University of the East. Tapos may kariton lang sila doon. Tapos yung babae, I would suppose yung nanay ay nasa kalsada natutulog. And there's this tiny baby on top of the kariton na natutulog sila sa lamig ng panahon. And I find it very ironic and powerful na image for me na konting lakad mo lang from that area, that's already Malacanang. And these are, the people are there sa lugar na tinatawag na University Belt, sa lugar ng pinag-aaralan ng maraming tao. And people are trained in this university serve others, no? To serve the people. And then napakalapit sa maraming kainan, etc., etc. It's very ironic. At nakita ko na nakaka-guilty at powerful itong image ng batang lansangan na nakita ko na yung mata niya ay ang nakita ko, ang nabasa ko ay mas matindi pa yung karanasan siguro ng batang ito kaysa sa aking mga karanasan. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung mga hinanakit niya sa mundo, kung ano yung understanding niya ng mundo. And kadalasan ang lagi kong sinasabi, ang tendency natin is to just avoid looking so that we don't feel guilty about these things. But they're there and we don't do anything about it. So yun yung main reason. Kaya sinasabi ko, kung pwede lang yung tula ay maging womb, ibabalik kita. At kung pwede lang na yung this power of the words, kung pwede lang na yung power ng words ay posibleng mag-produce ng pagkain, ng pera na pwede mong ibigay sa mga tao, baka marami nang natulungan ang mga salita.
But I think the mere fact that you are able to write this, diba? The mere fact that you're aware also and people will be hearing this. I mean, somehow, diba? Meron kasing mga tao talaga, may mga bagay na we are able to do something to help other people. And especially those in the arts, I mean, their performances, diba? Their creations would be their weapons to help it. There are many. Sa Kumu, I applaud those artists who, gather together for a certain reason. Diba yung fundraising for, may advocacy. May magpa-fundraising sila for a friend who is, in need of medicine. I mean, those simple things, amidst pandemic, amidst, the restrictions of our movement. I know, especially those who are into the performing arts, ang daming nabinbin, di ba, na mga trabaho, di ba? And that is the source of living. But yet still, di ba, you can make this, di ba, situation into a better, to better the future. And then writing, making us, oo nga, no? Yung sinabi mo, oo nga, ang lapit nga lang niya sa palasyo. Nadadaanan siya ng mga taong marurunong. Pero bakit nga ba hindi nabibigyan ng pagkakataon, lalo na yung mga batang ganun. Nagigising. Yeah. And their lungs, breathe not the life of what should be, but they breathe the polluted air that hopefully we can just hope that their life won't be as polluted as the air that they breathe. My goodness, Joey. I mean, the season finale is so ewan ko, I'm in goosebumps na talagang.
Sorry, serious talk.
Yeah, serious talk. Sabi nga ng friend ko, nasa Kumu, si Jethro, naku, napaka-komikero namin. Sabi niya, ang lalim. Diyos ko. Yes, I think the reason why, kapag may kalokohan sa Kumu, hindi nila ako sinasali. Alam nila pang seryoso lang ako. Kasi talagang dito ako nalilinya. I don't know because of age. I don't know why. Pero, I mean, these really things, make me, parang make me wanna learn more. I mean, wanna understand better. Parang dito lang ako talaga and I enjoy, being with my guests, being with people. And nasa-share mo to, Joey? Napopost mo ba to sa lahat ng social media mo?
This poetry?
Yes. Hi, Peach.
This poetry I shared on Facebook. Yeah, I think as a written text, not as a performed text. So, yun.
Yeah. Please do follow. O, diba? Pinromote kita. Please do follow Joey Vargas. I mean, you can, ang dami ko nang nabasa. Sa dami nang nabasa ko. Lahat yon alam ko, hinangaan ko kasi napaka-matalinhaga lahat ng mga piyesa mo. I mean, you would really, I have to read it twice para talaga, what does he mean by this? Yung bang ganun? Siyempre, as what you've said, totoo naman yung sinabi ng Sir Tino na talagang yung interpretation would be based on the experiences of the people who will really, had their lives, their past experiences. And it's so, ako, nakikita ko, every time that I will be reading a piece, una kong tinitignan, ano yung, alam mo yung experience ng writer. Bakit niya nasulat? I would like to understand where he is coming from. Before ko siya i-apply na, oo nga, no, ganito din yata ako. Parang, di ba?
Yeah.
And there would always be, surprising incidents or events na talagang pareho kayo ng, pag nakausap mo yung writer, then pareho pala kayo ng pinagdaan. Pareho
Yeah.
pala, the reason, di ba? Pareho pala kayo ng, somehow may hawigang experience and kaya kayo nakaka-relate sa isa't isa. But, napansin ko, Joey, yung mga piyesa mo, more on yung social relevant pieces. Bakit?
Oh no.
Bakit?
Oh, I am
Bakit?
this.
Thank you, Peach.
I actually realized recently na siguro hindi naman realize, but I have come to embrace it more, yung reality na mas actually kapag chinek, I think mas may grounding on my faith yung thoughts na naisusulat. And because of that, dun din galing yung point of view when you look at the world, yung konsepto ng justice, konsepto ng kapayapaan, ng halimbawa parang kapag sinabi mo na like may mga nagsasabi na bilang artist kailangan mong maging neutral at mag-promote ng maging mapayapa lang, avoid conflict, etc. Pero madalas ang aking idea is that there can be no peace without justice. So kailangan pa rin na susugin yung aspeto ng hustisya. And I also like this theory, and it made an impact on me, yung theory ng isang theater theorist, si Konstantin Stanislavski, Russian theater theorist, na nagsabi na yung inspiration comes from nature. Nasa environment mo ang lahat ng pwede mong masulat or pwede mong magamit, alam mo, kahit bilang artista, bilang aktor. So when I look at the world, this is also what I see. Maraming pwedeng masulat at posibleng hindi nakikita o hindi tinitingnan ng mga tao. I'm not trying to romanticize yung pagiging artist, no? Kasi ang sinasabi ng mga tao ay kakaiba yung pagiging artist. Halimbawa, I somehow, sorry for this, I somehow cringe every time people would make me feel that that people would say that you're amazing because you're an artist. Na kanina, forgive me for saying this, na kanina magsasabi na ang lalim, etc., etc. Pero para sa akin, it's just who I am. It's my existence. It's who I am, and it's what I am supposed to be, no? At itong pagiging ako ay kung kakabit nito is to be somebody who will talk about whatever is happening in the world na ayaw tingnan ng iba, then kailangan ko siyang gawin, no? Kaya napupunta ako sa social issues.
Side, yeah.
Yeah, because this is what I see. Actually, mas evident yata ito sa mga theater productions that I did. Like my last theater production in UPLB just before I left the academe was an experimental play na based sa desaparecidos, sa mga taong nawawala. So it was a play na baka ayaw ko na ulitin. It was experimental in such a way that I had 15 members of the audience meet with us the day before the actual play, and we asked them, we made them sign a waiver na kung ano man ang mangyari sa kanila during the production ay hindi namin kargo.
Oh my, that's heavy.
Yes.
That must be heavy.
Yeah, tinanong namin sila kung mayroon silang mga sakit, like sakit sa puso, allergies, etc., etc. And we asked them where they would be at around maybe 6:30 ng gabi, nasaan sila the following day. Binigyan namin sila ng wristband para lang may mapagkakakilanlan. And around 6:30 the following day, my actors went out of the theater pumunta sa iba't ibang parte ng campus sa UPLB, and they abducted yung bawat isa doon sa 15 people. So pinaranas ko sa 15 people na yon yung karanasan ng ina-abduct. So they were brought to the theater ng blindfolded sila. They were shouting, they were screaming kasi they were being dragged papasok sa auditorium. And the entire production, takot ako sa posibleng maging response ng mga tao afterwards. And also takot ako dun sa na-traumatize yata. Mas na-traumatize ako kesa dun sa 15 people na nakaranas nung theater production na yon. But after that, we processed kung ano yung experiences nila, and they would say that they loved and they liked the experience na nakatulong sa kanila. I was also actually trying to test yung isang theory ko noon na kung totoo na ang karanasan mo sa theater ay nakokompleto sa iyong imahinasyon, baka pwede nating bawasan ng isang sense, yung sense of sight. Alisin natin ang sense of sight, magkakaroon ka pa ba ng karanasan na buo sa isang theater production? So that's what I did during the time. And they had a different experience from those who watched the play. Pero yun, after that, ayaw ko na siyang ulitin. Ayaw ko na ng ganun.
I mean, maswerte yung naka-witness no, no? Kasi that is once in a lifetime, I think, production. I never watch or seen such production, Joey, parang, di ba? And I could imagine the big responsibility that you took. That is so risky. That is not, just a production. It's I don't know how you call it, but life experience maybe.
Yeah.
A one of a kind life experience kasi it's a production, but yet you made them realize, I mean, it's a make or break. It's either, they will love it or they will hate you.
True.
And saying naman this, that people would acknowledge yung gift mo, maybe the reason why it is really given to you is that you have a huge responsibility, a mission maybe, if I could say, no? That, whenever, Uncle Ben's moment tayo, di ba, with Spider-Man, with Peter, di ba? Yung big gifts comes with great
Great power.
responsibility. Yeah, with great power comes with great responsibility. And, having the power to be able to show, perform, and pierce through the mind and the heart of the people who would be watching or would be reading your works, di ba? It really comes with huge responsibility, and God must have a meaning. The reason why you are there in an island, pero still, di ba, things happened, none of your control, pero you still have so much to do. The reason, kahit nandyan ka sa sinasabi mo nga na island, ay, may bumati sa'yo dito, si Chris Bellison. Sir Joey, andito siya sa Kumu. He's saying hi to you. Guys on Kumu, I have to read all your messages, all your reactions kasi hindi nababasa ni Joey. Nandito kami sa isang stream. So, hello, sabi ni Chris Bellison. Sir Joey, so it's either naging estudyante mo siya sa academe or sa music or sa theater or...
He's a member. He actually also sent me a message now. So he's a member of the UPLB Street Jazz Dance Company. He was one of those members that I worked with. I am also very much into working with hip hop dance crews in the country, especially the UPLB Street Jazz Dance Company. So I worked with them. I was their stage director for a number of concerts. So I would mentor their choreographers in conceptualizing dances, etc.
I mean, I know so many people, including me. Jack of all trades, master of nothing. Pero ikaw, Jack of all trades, tapos master mo pa everything. Hay nako, mommy left the group. Di ba? I mean, into dancing, pati jazz dancing. Joey, nakakainis ka na. Malapit na akong mainis sa'yo. Kidding aside, no? I mean, hi, Paul Gucci. Hello there on Kumu. Hello, everyone. Thank you for sharing, Chris. But, lahat ng aspekto, no? Especially dito sa pagsasayaw. I mean, hindi siya madaling, I mean, steps, di ba? I know from a friend na choreographer na sabi niya, you cannot just make moves into a music and then you will say it's a choreographer. It's a choreography, I mean. Sabi niya, parang choreographers should know that each music, each beat, I mean, yung meron siyang proper, way of, and that is something talaga parang that's Greek to me. I mean, I can't really would understand, but to be able to lead, but not just dance with these young people, but to lead them, that is something. Saan mo naman
Well,
nakuha yun, Joey?
I was I was part of the UPLB Filipiniana dance company. So I would dance, I would perform Philippine folk dances, for example. I was not into hip hop really. The street jazz dance company, although they are named as street jazz, is actually doing hip hop performances. But the experience with them is on mentoring them, like understanding yung language ng stage, understanding yung language ng art in general. And ang lagi kong ang principle that I follow is that dance is art. So parang gaya ng sinabi ng friend mo na parang binabanggit ko, everybody can move, but not everybody can dance.
Can dance.
No?
That's true.
Kasi in order for a movement to be dance, para sa akin, it has to be art, and in order for it to be art, then it becomes like a reflection of life. Hindi lang siya galaw na walang meaning. So it has to mean something. Yung kailangan siyang pinag-aaralan. So I would guide them, I think, in understanding yung semiotics ng stage, yung language ng entablado, kung anong meaning kapag nasa harapan ka, and kung gaano katindi ang tension na ibibigay mo, etc., etc. And also, I think principles of selectivity, halimbawa, like a choreographer would want to talk about, halimbawa, would talk about incest in a dance, no? Sa isang maikling sayaw, gagawin niyang incest in maybe 3 to 4 minutes. At napakalaki ng topic. And especially young people, they would want to talk about a lot of things. Tapos sa sobrang dami ng gustong sabihin, wala tuloy silang nasasabi. So young artists, important for me ang mentoring and apprenticeship pagdating sa arts. Kailangan may nag-guide. So I guide them towards that too, na pumili. There is a time for everything, sabi sa Ecclesiastes. No? Hindi pwedeng ma-discuss ang lahat ng bagay na gusto mong sabihin in such a short time. Choose one. And then maybe later, pwede yung ibang
Others
topic.
would follow, yeah. One
Yeah.
at a time. That's true. To be able to how do you say it? Para maiparating mo yung mensahe, no, na gusto mo, then you have to be clear. Kasi kung
Yeah.
sabay-sabay, then, iba-iba ang mensahe na maipararating mo. No? More so baka contrary to what the message that you would like them to do. So, speaking of message, Joey, syempre sigurado ang next tula mo should have another message. Kala
Oh
mo,
my
sabi
God.
ko sa'yo, hindi kita palulusutin. I mean, for those who are there on Facebook, hello there. Hi, Pinsan. Hi there on Kumu. For those who are still waiting. I mean, I like, yung mga nakikinig na they would stay and later on they would give feedbacks and gaano sila na move or na touch ng guest ko. And I am, so glad that, this time madaming share ng about social uh, yung social relevant issues, pero iba kasi pag yung talagang from a mentor. I mean, someone who really knows what he's doing and would be able to elaborately explain what the piece is all about, what it's all about. Kaya, ayan. Alam ba ni Chris na isang magaling na manunulat ang kanyang Sir Joey? Chris, alam mo ba? well, well, I guess naman this is not a secret to everybody. Yes, with all capital letters, yes. And so, hi Chris, it's nice to meet you here on Kumu. Okay, Joey, when you're ready, what's the next piece for us?
Oh my God. Wait, I'm trying. Okay. This is, paano ko ba to ipapaliwanag? paano ko ba ito ipapaliwanag? This is a iba yung timpla nito because I wrote this with the idea na gagawin siya into a choral piece. So I created this last December para sa UPLB Choral Ensemble, because they did this for the Mats et al. Choral Festival last December. So I wrote, ilang tinig maririnig mula sa ilang. Nagsasalimbayan ng mga tinig ng sambayanan, walang magparaya, hindi tuloy magkaintindihan. Inakyat ng tao ang rurok ng kanyang kayabangan, puso nila'y lipos ng pag-imbot sa kapangyarihan. Gagawin nila anuman ang kanilang magustuhan, guluhin kanilang wika ng di magkaintindihan. Ilang mga tinig maririnig sa di kalayuan, sisigaw sa ilang, maghahangad ng kapayapaan. Sabayan ng himig, puspos ng pag-ibig sa lipunan, tuwirin ang daan, daratal, tunay na kalayaan. Yun lang, short lang. But it was made into a choral piece and was performed by the UPLB Choral Ensemble. But actually, ang idea ko talaga nito when I wrote this, agad-agad, I don't know, hindi ko siya may papakita sa inyo ngayon, but it's actually parang combination of two poems. So ang isang poetry, mabilisan na lang, huwag ka na umalis dyan ka na lang. So, parang ginawa ko siya ng halimbawa, yung line na nagsasalimbayan ng mga tinig ng sambayanan, it's actually already a combination of two lines. So yung isang poetry would say, nagsasalimbayan, walang magparaya, inakyat ng tao. Ang puso nila'y lipos, ang mga tinig ng sambayanan, hindi tuloy magkaintindihan. Ang rurok ng kanyang kayabangan ng pag-imbot sa kapangyarihan. Tapos yung kabila ay ilang mga tinig sisigaw sa ilang, sabayan ng himig, tuwirin ng daan, maririnig sa di kalayuan, maghahangad ng kapayapaan, puspos ng pag-ibig sa lipunan, daratal, tunay na kalayaan. So yun. This is based on, actually, I don't know where the country is going, no? I don't know where the country is
I
going.
mean, that is my question actually, Joey. Parang those words are powerful. I mean, tuwid din ang daan, that is what they would always say, but you know, just words that they say. Pero pag sinulat mo to, dito na lang particular pyesa na to. What do you expect those who listen or those who can hear these pieces? What do you expect the people to you know, to react?
Actually, this one, especially for those that I mentor, the young people that I work with, like UPLB Choral Ensemble, I was part of it, and I also, at least for a year, I directed the group, and I sometimes still visit them before their performances. Parang ang thinking ko nito, dahil yun nga, nag-aral ka sa universidad, hindi dapat makalimutan yung obligasyon mo, yung this call for you to come from the wilderness, no? Ito ang ano ko, because this has a biblical basis, no? I imagine John the Baptist, this voice crying from the wilderness. At itong and John the Baptist is known to have said, straighten the path. Straighten the path. Someone is coming. Someone greater than I am is coming. And also yung biblical passage about the Tower of Babel. People were so greedy. They wanted power. They wanted to be their own gods. They wanted idols, etc. na magtayo at maging idolo ng lahat. And ito yung nangyayari ngayon sa bansa. At ang expectation ko siguro for these people, halimbawa, na gaya ng binanggit mo na may mga gifts, no? Na may kakayahan, may kakayahan magsalita, may platform na magsalita, may platform na kumanta, may na tulad ng UPLB Choral Ensemble nga na nakilala na sana hindi matigil doon sa pagkanta lang na kailangan may gawin para sa ibang tao. kailangan ma-move ang ilang tao na magkaroon halimbawa ng inspirasyon ngayong panahon na hindi mawalan ng pag-asa, etc. Because sa kaduluduluhan ng nangyayari sa atin na para tayong mga tao dun sa panahon ng Tower of Babel na hindi na tayo nagkakaintindihan. We have different words. We may speak the same language, but we don't seem to understand one another. So something's not right. And this is a product of people who began building this Tower of Babel, and they wanted to be idols and these gods, no? And ang tendency is chaos among the people. Pero sa kaduluduluhan nito, matatapos ang lahat, tayo pa rin mga tao yung kailangan magsama-sama. So there must be people who should come bringing peace, bringing this news of peace, no? Na mag-ano tayo, kapit lang, no? Kapit ang lahat.
And that is and that is a risk also, Joey. Others might not understand, no, what we are trying to say, what we are, shouting for. Others might really have, would put they would put an interpretation far from what, we would really like to say, no? And sometimes those who are, sad to say, but sometimes those who really have the power to move those mountains, to pattern the road, di ba? Sinasabi nga ni John the Baptist, sila pa talaga sometimes would bring, hurdles for you to be able to cross it. Difficulty. Yung magkaroon ng difficulty in crossing it. I mean, but still, this is, yung willpower natin, to go on. We've shared the same campus. Hindi nga lang ako napasama noon sa kahit anong teatro, no? Na-involve ako sa sports when I was in UPLB, sa CPS Triangle. So, alam mo naman ng CPS noon, more on sa palakasan kami, talaga nauubos ang oras namin. And one thing that maybe I regret, if there would be, if you can say it, I regret, yung hindi ako na-involved sa teatro. There was supposedly a theater project ng El Filibusterismo, ang filibustero yata, yung script namin. Dito sa Very Beautiful Piece by Upsilon, doon ako na-involved sa theater. But after that, hindi na ako na-involved. Di ba may teatro umalahokan? Yes, Sabrina, palakasan! Yeah, sa CPS Triangle noon, taga-Pisay kami, kaya addict na addict kami nun sa basketball, kaya ako natuto mag-basketball. But anyways, going back is, may teatro umalahokan din nun sa UPLB, di ba? That, tackles something. And other theatrical groups, nung time ko lang na yun, I'm talking about my time. I know you came years after ko. Kay Joey, ang laki ng tanda ko kay Joey. Kaya alam kong malaki yung gap. Malaking pinagbago na ng UPLB during your time. So, but still, no, we can still understand the music that we would like, the other people to hear, the words that we would like them to understand. The messages that we would like to convey. And it will always remain. Maybe for us who are able to, we are lucky enough that, our senses are being awakened, if I could say. Something that, na may focus, di ba? Hindi lang about love life. Ang tula ay hindi lang about sa pag-ibig na nasira, nasaktan, pinaasa at kung ano-ano pa. Pero ang tula, di ba, would always, go down to the love of, your motherland, the love for nature, the inspirations that the nature could give you. Sabi mga inspiration must come from nature, and I agree. The metaphors of everything that, that we could see from the moment that we wake up. So before we end, Joey, syempre, hihirit pa ako ng isa. For the closing, for this season 2 ng YMOP, Yumi and Our Poetry, syempre, season finale natin, a very dear friend of mine na talagang siguro twice lang po kami nagkita sa personal, kung hindi pa sila pupunta ng Europa. But I always, follow Joey sa kanyang mga tula sa Facebook, sa kanyang mga posts sa Facebook. Kaya ayan. So, bago kita bitawan ng tuluyan, isa pang pyesa, isa pang chicken joy, isa pang pyesa from none other than Joey Vargas. Ayan.
Okay. Nitong pandemic, it was also an opportunity na mag-contemplate, mag-isip, no? Humarap sa reality ng mundo. So this, I've written, I have been writing a lot of things, also hoping that I could collaborate with musicians, with composers. And this particular set of poetry, my 12 yatang poetry in one set, I entitled this set as From Darkness to Light, Cycle of Light Ripping the Night. I don't know kung magagawa ni Nilo, pero na kay Nilo Alcala yung mga poetry. So I entrusted him these poems. I'm reading one poem from that set. It's called, it's the 9th poem in that set. The title is A Gentle Breeze. So this is in English. It has 3 parts. In this darkness, I find no peace. This breath of night caged me in fright. My eyes turn blind with fears in mind. I cannot breathe, drowned underneath. It is cold outside. It is once again evening. From a distance, I can hear the people wailing, perhaps again over death's sting, grieving, mourning. Within these walls, I stay in terror, shivering. It is cold outside. It is once again evening. Stay, I tell myself. I am not alone, hiding. Outside the window, dead darkness is deepening. The world stops breathing. Dread is foreboding, creeping. It is cold outside. It is once again evening. Then you come as a gust, then as a gentle breeze blowing in the midst even of the dead of night, moving in the most dreadful, darkest of evenings. In its chambers my heart awakes, leaps, rejoices, and my soul runs wrapped in love, blazing in light, like a servant rushing to meet the King of Kings. There you go, done.
Grabe. Why do you always have to come back na again, it's evening?
It's what? It's evening.
Yes. Na-curious ako doon, no? Kasi di ba meron tayo, sometimes when we compose, we repeat something that we would like really to, make a punch out of it. Pero, doon ako na parang na-catch, no? Why do you have to always, and then again,
tinignan ko itong pandemic as a very long night. It's a dark night ng buong mundo, no? At sa aking contemplation, itong buong set na to, na From Darkness to Light, Cycle of Light Ripping the Night. Ang pagtingin ko kasi this is a situation na ang mga tao ay ang posible na lang makita yung dilemma. Kanina binanggit ko yung time na sabi ko, when I joined the MADS, I actually wanted to feel better. That was in 2008. But nobody knew that it was my worst year. I would say that I was depressed during the time. It was my 7th year. At yung collective years na yon ng 7 years, I call them collectively as the Black Saturday of my life. I was dead. I was a dead man walking. It's the dark night of my soul, I would say. And ang nakakatakot nung panahon na yon is that ang tingin ko lagi, kahit may araw, I would say na the day is suffocating, na parang pakiramdam mo, madilim na may nakaharang sa mata mo. And multiply it ng napakarami at napakaraming ulit at napakalaking multiplication. This is what's happening to the world ngayon. Na this darkness is covering our eyes. At ang danger ay ang makita lang ng tao ay yung dilemma, na mag-focus tayo sa dilemma. So, paulit-ulit kong binabanggit dito sa poetry yung evening because of that, na ito nakikita natin. It is cold outside. It is once again evening. Pero sa contemplation ko din, pag tiningnan ko yung tinatawag na history of salvation, no? Itong kwento ng pagdating ni Kristo, etc. Ang nagiging reflection ko, ang nagiging contemplation is that God actually manifested himself during the night sa mga stories like
Mhm.
ang burning bush, the experience ni Moses had to happen during the night na pumunta siya sa taas ng bundok at may burning bush, gabi, nagsalita ang Diyos. Nagkaroon ng kaya nagkaroon ng let there be light dahil madilim ang mundo.
Yeah.
Nung pinanganak si Kristo, we have these stories of the angels announcing na may mga shepherds na nasa gabi, nasa dilim,
Silent.
nasa gabi. So, lahat gabi, kahit pa nung mamatay si Kristo, no? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, according to the story, no? Pag inanalyze, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but there's this particular line that says, it grew dark nung panahon na yon. So, madilim. So, sa gabi, dumadating si Kristo, no? Na namatay siya at tapos nung mabuhay is past evening, so papuntang umaga. So kung itong karanasan natin ay isang mahabang gabi, there's this part sa puso ko hoping, no, na that God will manifest himself through these experiences. As I would also say that God speaks to us in the events of our lives. We just have to be more sensitive to listen. Kasi ang concept naman ito ang isang, usapin na to ng faith, no? Pero parang usapin ng prayer. No? Sometimes people would think that prayer is supposed to be you talking to God. It's a communication. So sometimes we may try to just stay quiet and let God speak. So,
True.
yun.
And I love the way that you put it, Joey. I mean, nothing happens by chance, no? For several times that this conversation should, happen few months ago na, but to be able to have this at this very timely, the finale of season 2 before the competition. I mean, and napag-usapan natin, no, being an artist, and now the faith that that we have to include also, because everything that we can do all comes from the Almighty One. I mean, we cannot write, we cannot sing, we cannot even touch the people that would our words be touched, no, if we are not given the gifts of these things. And then thank you for mentioning that, no? Usapin man to ng faith. Ako, we could talk everything and anything here on YMOP and about faith, of course. Hindi yan natin pwedeng iset aside because we can create something out of the things that we are, bestowed upon, the gifts that we are bestowed upon. And I am glad that you are there. And nung nakwento mo nga, yung mga tao that you have to feel their shoes to to do something, to continue the works that they have left in this world, but still and it's all about giving inspiration to the people, building the faith that your people must have there in your island, there the beautiful island of Catanduanes. I mean, uh my goodness, this is so amazing. I'm amazed. I'm awe. Talagang God works in mysterious ways. And I don't know, Joey. Na-realize ko na lang, oh my gosh, Saturday is coming and I don't have a guest yet. Pero lagi akong naniniwala that God would always, there was a time after yung na-meet ko yung anak ko sa Genova that I was so tired emotionally. Sabi mo nga that you have to heed sometimes, you have to listen to the message. Faith, prayer is, a two-way, it must be a two-way communication. And totoo, and that is the only thing yata sa season 2 na nagpahinga ako, that I stopped muna, hindi muna ako nag-stream. Because I needed to rest. Because I cannot share something, I cannot just go stream na, na bota, yung walang laman yung sarili ko. But, having you for the season finale is, I am so amazed. I'm really thankful. I'm thanking God for this day. I'm thanking God for you for, saying yes finally. Guys, ang hirap pong mapayes ng isang Sir Joey Vargas.
No, it's because of the internet. So
Yeah, I know, I understand naman. But, thank God that the internet works for us, and the electricity,
Yeah,
nakipagtulungan naman sa atin.
I am
And
in
hindi
a
mo,
hotel now, kaya
ay, kaya pala, my goodness, Diyos ko, day. Ay, that is so, that is so kind of you, Joey. Talagang you secure talaga. The no, but thank you for, for sharing all those pieces. Thank you for sharing yourself to us. I mean, everything that you've shared, I mean, one way or the other, is part of you. It's you being you. Sabi mo nga, di ba? It's you. It's how
yeah.
you are being you. And you've shared it this afternoon. We are so waiting for your other, Teka, may gusto ka bang invite sila o, to
Hmm.
watch out for? Abangan ka namin. Saan ka naming kanto aabangan?
Yeah. I think even without me, parang gaya ng binanggit ko kanina na the arts, they're the air that I breathe.
Mhm.
No? Parang I always have something to do. I always create something. Like um, I have written works really ngayong pandemic na I'm still hoping that some composers will transform them into music. So marami yung mga gawa na nasulat ngayong mga panahon. So sana mapanood, mapakinggan ninyo. And I'm hoping na, of course, makabalik dun sa podcast and paglalagay ng
Oh,
YouTube sa
sa
ng
YouTube.
materials eh.
Waiting for you. It's Joey Vargas, no, on YouTube.
Yes,
Yes, it's Joey
this
Vargas. Please do follow Joey Vargas on YouTube and on Facebook, and you would really see so wonderful works, no, the poems that he created. If I must just say, no, pareho tayong attach masyado sa ating mga pinanggalingang lugar. So, for those, ako, taga-Kanlubang ako, and I got, educated from SCCS, Santa Cecilia Catholic School. For those there, mga past pupil ng Santa Cecilia, please, if you have, something to give, to help the school, they're in need right now because of this pandemic and everything that happens, no? Please do get in touch with the principal, Ma'am Christina C. Acosta, and the GCash I flash there. If you are, be able to be of help, please get in touch with our principal ng Santa Cecilia Catholic School. That would be of great help. And of course, please do follow me. Ngayon lang po tayo nag-Sunday ng YMOP, but it is Saturday 9 p.m. Talagang hindi ko po pinalampas to kahit linggo. Kailangan magkaroon tayo ng pagkakataong mai-guest ng isang Sir Joey Vargas. And yes, follow pala me on YouTube, guys. Sa YouTube makikita niyo lahat yung past interviews, past videos that you can go back to kung sino-sino yung mga na-interview na ng YMOP. So, YMOP by Marian Laarni yung sa ating YouTube. And please, again, do follow Mr. Joey Vargas sa kanyang YouTube din at sa Facebook and sa kanyang podcast na parang palagay ko, I hope this will serve as parang pressure, pressure na mag-push again. Joey, no, you're doing good. I mean, you're doing good. Yun na lang the gift of the voice that, would catch attention. Diba? Bonus na yun eh. Bonus na yung voice mo. You really have a very, very catching voice. So,
I'll
I hope,
try. I'll try.
plus the messages that you always, impart, napaka, napaka, yung timely, napapanahon. And I think this is what we owe the future, to be able to relate this to the young people who will be the who will form our future. Ayun, Joey, thank you very much. Really,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you
Thank you for
too.
saying yes. Huwag ka muna alas pag in-end ko tong broadcast. So guys, thank you. See you again on Saturday. We will be back on Saturday, May 1, but that would be the elimination round for the YMOP, Yumi and our poetry, spoken word poetry competition. So definitely you would see there, you would meet the competitors next Saturday. So for season 2, this is our finale. This would be the last episode for season 2. And we are none other than one of the greatest. Oh, di ba? One of the greatest talaga. But that I know that is a friend of mine, well-rounded, be it on theater, be it on acting, be it on singing, be it writing, be it being a poet, everything na. Kaya talagang I'm glad that he said yes. None other than Joey Vargas. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Chris. Thank
Thank
you there.
you.
Thank you, guys. See you again next week. God bless everyone and stay safe. Bye.